Hey guys, it's been a minute since I have focused. Actually, I'm not sure if I've ever truly focused on getting this Coffee with Sherry account up and running, but that's all about to change right now. So we are going to dive right into it. I want to feature this cup for today, keeping with the Coffee with Sherry theme. This is Kindness Matters. I love this cup, and it's on both sides. So if you drink with your left hand, or if you drink with your right hand, others will still be able to view this inspirational quote, Kindness Matters. It's hot. So I just finished with a beautiful yoga flow, hence all this. But what we're going to talk about today is this is the official countdown to my surgery coming up soon. What I'm having done is breast implant surgery, and the official name for it is mastopexy with a right deflation with bilateral implant replacement. And what that means is my left implant recently ruptured, so there's no deflation necessary for that. The right one is still good to go, but okay. I live in the city, and sometimes the sirens catch me off guard. Hold on. Well, I don't want to pause. One of the perks of living in a city, I really just tune out the sirens all the time, but I've tried to get everything as quiet as I can in my studio apartment, even turned off the refrigerator, because every little sound is amplified when you create videos in a small little studio apartment. I could not control the external noises, the sirens. There may be a few more, but just try to tune them out. All right, so what that means is they will not have to deflate this one, they just need to remove this one. They will have to deflate the right implant and remove it, and then we're going to install new implants, brand new, fresh new implants. And the mastopexy is a lift. We're also going to do a lift, so I'm excited about that. Everything's just going to be perky. I figured it's been 18 years since I got these. Unfortunately, one of them did rupture, and so now, we just got to go in there and fix things up. And since we're in there, we might as well make them perky and bring them to life again. All right. So with that being said, so the countdown is, let's pull up the calendar. Today is the 11th, and so I have such a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 more sleeps. I'm getting more and more nervous. I'm not even sleeping right now because I'm so nervous about the surgery. Not about the actual surgery, but about being put to sleep. How crazy is that? And so my implant rupture, I don't know what caused it. I don't know if it was slowly something that was happening and I didn't realize it was happening, but I do know is on May 6th, I woke up that morning noticing something very different about my left breast implant. And I look at these babies every single day, so I knew it had not been like that the day before. So I noticed it and I was like, And so then a few days later, I went to the doctor, and it's a male doctor, and we were doing a physical, and I kind of told him about it, and he's like, well, I don't know what he said, but he didn't want to look at them, apparently. He's not my regular doctor. He's the doctor on site at corporate. I already have a regular family practice doctor, but she's so far away, and she's okay with me just popping into the doctor's office at corporate whenever I need to, do something, and I needed a physical. So basically, he didn't want to look at it. He didn't want to touch him. He's like, do you do regular breast exams? I'm like, yeah. And we did discuss a lump that I also have in that breast, and that how, we've been doing MRIs every 6 months to monitor them, but then we kind of dropped the ball. I had one more to go before I was cleared. I had to do every 6 months for 2 years, and kind of dropped the ball because during the pandemic, it was just so difficult to get into the hospitals to get, and that's where I go. Once you start at one place, then you have to continue the whole regimen there. Anyway, yada, 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 yada. So he did say, let's, now that things are cleared up, let's find you a new place that's more convenient for you and get you in to get the MRI since you're going to be having, possibly having surgery. Because at this point, I didn't know for sure what was happening with this. But he did say, reach out to your plastic surgeon and just get his thoughts on it. So I don't know why I'm still holding this. So we got the MRI scheduled, and then see, my implant ruptured on May 6th. So just, within a few days' time, I realized it's getting smaller and smaller. I'm like, this is clearly a rupture. It's deflating. So I did reach out to the original surgeon, and he's still practicing. He's been practicing like for almost 30 years in the same place that he was 18 years ago when I first went to him in North Carolina. So that will be a 6-hour drive for me. Some people can make it 5 hours, but it takes me 6 hours. Got to pull every wisteria. Anyway, so I did call in, and they were like, can you email us some pictures? And I did, and they're like, yep, you got a rupture and it's deflating. And then a few days later, it deflated completely. And this is all in less than a week's time. Sounds like it's been longer time, but it's not. When I called the MRI people to let them know I have a ruptured implant and it's deflating. Is that going to affect the MRI? Can I still get one? Long story short, yes, come in, let's do it. We'll work around it. So they did. Everything went lovely. And the little, what are we calling it? What are we calling it? The little, we're not calling it a lump. I forget what we're calling it. But the little thing in there is the same. It remains unchanged and it's stable, and we don't have to do any more MRIs. They will go back to like, I don't know if it's once a year, once every 2 years. But they were like, it's good that, the radiologist like, we really wanted you to get in here and get a baseline because by this time I had already, communicated with my plastic surgeons, and we had decided, yes, we're going to go in and take care of this. And so the radiologist like, we wanted you to do this so you have a baseline in case anything else happens after the implants. We will know what your breasts look like before the implants. And this one still looks good, but it was so interesting to the tech's like, you want to look at the MRI. And I could see the implant just completely deflated and collapsed on itself in the MRI. But there's a policy in place. You can't take pictures of it. So she's like, I wanted to see if you could take a picture, but policies prohibit you taking pictures of the MRI. I was like, okay, no problem. So everything is in place. We are going to have surgery. And I just told you how many sleeps I have. But so the point is I made the appointment a month ahead of time, and I got the soonest available appointment. And I'm just nervous because it's not going to be under general where they intubate you, put you to sleep. It's where they use the propofol, same thing he used many years ago with me. And so, you'll be knocked out. And I will take a Valium the night before, and then 1 or 2 Valiums the morning of 30 minutes before, which that's not going to happen. When I was talking to the doctor on the phone the other day, he thought he was calling me to go over questions about the surgery, and he was. And he explained to me how the surgery is going to be because, they can't go into the same incisions, the axillary incisions they went into originally. And plus, they're doing a lift so that they will be, I think, partially removing the nipple and making it smaller and higher, and then some incisions down here. I don't remember the term. There's like several different techniques, and then so maybe incision over here, and then one incision will be here, but it'll be like a V, upside down V, but then they'll pull that skin together, and then there'll be an incision around my areola. I don't think they're removing the areola completely. I have seen where people take the areola off completely, put it over on the table, trim it up, make it smaller, and then completely sew it back on. But he was talking like, no, he doesn't have to completely remove it. So areola, incision, scar, and then when you pull these together, that'll be one scar, and then one more scar over here along the breast line, but not up here in the axillary. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. And really, the less I know, the better. So, but back to my point is I'm actually more nervous about being put to sleep, and everybody has reassured me, you're going to be fine. And now my doctor did say, you don't have to take the Valium, but we're going to laugh at you if you don't. He said very few people have chosen to not take the Valium and they regretted it. And so he's like, if you don't want to take the one the night before, that's fine, but you're probably going to be up all night not being able to sleep, which is normal. He said, but if you don't want to take it the night before, that's fine. It's not going to affect the surgery. So if you're worried that if you don't take it, it's going to hinder, impair, or, just adversely affect the surgery process, don't worry about that. That's not the case. But, I just feel like you probably should sleep the night before surgery. So take it, but do take it in the morning, 30 minutes before you come to surgery, and you can take one or two of them. And I'm just like so hung up on that. So I spent most of the consult time talking to him about my nerves regarding taking nerve medication. Um, but but he did answer my questions about the surgery. I did ask if it's possible if we can go a little larger. Not that I'm not happy with the size. Actually, it's really hard to tell in this video, but this is the good one. I now have put on weight, so I put on a lot of weight since the pandemic, and the menopause and the pandemic lockdown came at the same time. I was very athletic prior to that, even a year going into the pandemic, and then finally I threw in the towel and stopped being very athletic. And because I used to go to the yoga studio and the gym every day, and then I had to find ways to improvise and do without those amenities. And so, anyway, and then the menopause, yeah. So, with all the weight gain, these don't look as pronounced as they did when I was a little bit thinner. But the curious thing is you can't go bigger. He cannot go bigger when he is doing the lift because he is going to remove a lot of skin. He's also going to make the areola smaller. And so he's removing all that, so you can't go in there and make it bigger. Now, there are ways to get a breast enlargement, but that's not what we're doing. So no, they won't be any bigger, but they're going to be even and perky and beautiful. And honestly, I'm very happy with this one, but I can't walk around, cockeyed. So this one is completely deflated. I mean, my normal boob is in there with a deflated implant, and then this one is still full. However, the areola is not sitting where I would like for it to be sitting. I would like for it to be sitting a little higher up, but it wasn't something bothersome to where I was just going to go and have this surgery. I had been kind of thinking about maybe having the surgery in a few years, but I definitely wasn't thinking about having it this year. But when this one ruptured, of course, everything changed. Does this one have to come out right away? I don't think so. Nobody can tell me for sure. I mean, it's not like, yes, this must come out and insurance doesn't cover it, so this is all coming out of my pocket. This is not an emergency. Hindsight, I think it might have been slowly leaking, honestly, because it just looked different for a long time, especially if I bent over. This one just kind of like shot down like that. This one kind of hung full. This one kind of just looked like a pointy. I don't know. It's just crazy. I think that might have been contributing to me not feeling well for a while. But then again, with the menopause in play, there's just there's so many factors I don't even know. I drive myself silly trying to think about it. But hindsight, I'm thinking like something was going on with it for a while. But nothing happened May 5th that just like, oh, and then May 6th I woke up, oh, I bet that's what, no, nothing like that happened. So that's what we're going to get doing. And I like that I can come on here and talk about this because I can just say what I want to say. You can wind forward, rewind, you can do whatever you want to do. This is my safe space to just talk about my journey. And you can skip the parts of it that you don't want to watch. And if you think I'm just going on, dragging on and on about it, and just talking like so my microphone, what's that thing called, is plugged into the bottom. So, and I've got it leaning against my makeup mirror. So there's really nothing holding it. And I didn't put it in the the tripod because there's not enough space up here where it's sitting. So it's just hanging on for dear life, leaning against the makeup mirror because it's really the best lighting. So anyway, what I was saying is I don't know why I slept on YouTube for so long. And this is my safe space to just share my journey. So let me just see how many sleeps we have. So today is the 11th. So tonight's one sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow. 11 more sleeps until my surgery. Oh. And I'm more nervous about being put to sleep than I am the actual surgery. So we'll be driving to North Carolina. I can't remember how long he said the surgery will take, but I will be in his office maybe 4 or 5 hours. And then my son will drive me back home. Like I said, I'll be in North Carolina. And I'm going to stay in North Carolina for a long weekend. And then, maybe 4 or 5 days. And then I will drive back to my home in Virginia. So be sure to follow if you want to see how things go. I would love to share before and after pictures of the actual, you know, implant replacement process, you know, without clothing over it so that people could see exactly what the healing process looks like and what the scars look like. But I don't think I'm going to be able to share that here. I'm still trying to think of ways to work around that. Maybe there's some other platform that I can do that on. So that is it for Coffee with Sherry today. Remember, when leaving comments, kindness matters. And let me have one more sip. I love you all, and I look forward to you accompanying me on this journey.